when I heard older son's bedroom door slam and husband stomping into the back room to watch TV, I took middle daughter and younger son to get burgers. Yeah, burgers is gonna make this all better.
Yo, let's get some Burger King!
Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. An anonymous Discord friend and I were having an argument. They said you should really go back and try some Entitled Parents. There's a lot of people that want to see that. And I said, maybe so, but they ain't my subscribers. And they said, well, AITA did pretty well. And I said, it did bring in some new faces. And they said, well, do that then. Will it be a regular thing on the channel? Probably not, because there's not very many Entitled Parents like this one. But I thought we'd go back to the channel's roots and make it do what it do. Malicious Magda, the mother-in-law from hell, part 1 of 3. Yeah, it's one of them things, I guess. Posted by user Dainty Anus.
I eat ass.
Oh my god. We might just be in for it today. Malicious Magda's racist meltdown. I am 36 weeks pregnant with my first child, a boy. My mother-in-law, Magda, has fixated on us naming our child Patrick because I'm due in March. More than anything in the world, she wants us to name the baby Patrick Liam to honor her family's Irish heritage. Now, I think she's just like, trying to wrench control of your life away from you. At the beginning of my 3rd trimester, I couldn't take her constant badgering, so I blocked her number. I told husband all contact with her has to go through him. Well, husband and I are practicing Catholics. Both sides of our family have a tradition of naming children after saints. I have a saint name, husband and all his siblings have saint names, my stepchildren have saint names, and Magda has a saint name. We are naming the baby Toribio Romo. Santo Toribio is a saint who was a parish priest in Mexico in the town next to where my family's from. All the first sons of my family are given this name, and it's a tradition that I'm happy to continue. All that makes good sense. The only person that has this problem with it is the mother-in-law, apparently. She's a maniac. Does husband even have like a good relationship with her, or what's going on? That's the part of this that I'd rather unpack, but that's not the story we got. So I'm at brother-in-law one's house for their Super Bowl party. My wide, pregnant ass is comfortably sitting in the recliner with my feet up. It's nice. I'm feeling good. My feet are up, the kids are bringing me snacks and beverages. That's right, have the children serve a purpose. Magda and brother-in-law's mother-in-law, Linda, is talking to me about babies and child rearing. Magda's on her best behavior in front of Linda. Linda is the treasurer for our church and also runs the women's Bible study group, so she hasn't harped on naming the baby Patrick Liam. The conversation stays light and cheerful, until Linda asks if we've decided on the name. Magda's eyes open wide, and I coolly say, we're naming him after Santo Toribio. Before Linda can say anything, Magda starts ugly crying. I don't think I even have all that much to say regarding this stuff. It's so petty and small, especially in presumably the US, if they have a Super Bowl party, right? And there it's like legal to change your name. It's not legal in the Philippines, which is interesting to me. But in the US, change it to whatever the hell you want. Maybe he will decide he wants to be a Patrick Magda. Maybe you just have to harass him enough throughout his entire life about it. She will. Magda says Toribio is an unacceptable name. It's hard to pronounce, and his classmates will make fun of him for it. She thinks naming our child after the patron saint of immigrants is disgusting. Magda fell to the floor screaming that I've stolen her youngest son and am forcing him to turn his back on his Irish heritage. Are you closely connected to that? Yeah, we eat a lot of cabbage and potatoes. I don't know. It's fine. She said the only reason that she's with him, husband, was to get a green card and to escape her desperately poor life. She wishes that dear husband's late wife was still here because she was nicer, doormat, and would never dream of giving an innocent child such a disgusting name. I mean, kids probably will rip on it a little bit, but, like, they'll rip on anything, bro. Like, that's just kind of what they do. Formative experiences. My stepchildren deserved a better mother because I'm just a gold-digging Mexa woman who's concerned with money. Linda just looked at her in gape-mouthed horror. I just got up and walked out of the house, determined not to cry in front of Magda. I did not want to give her the satisfaction of knowing that she had hurt me. God, she really is just a miserable little ball of hate, ain't she? Maybe this will be more enjoyable than I thought. She's trying to cut you down in any way possible. Magda is in denial that I'm not only a U.S. citizen, but am U.S. born to U.S. parents. She hates that my stepchildren adore me and like my parents more than her. I have more stories about her because typing this one out has been exhausting. Thank you, Just No Mill, for letting me vent. I have no idea what to do with her now. Avoid her, mostly, would be probably a good idea. But sometimes easier said than done. Next thread is my oldest just disowned his paternal grandmother. My horrendous mother-in-law, Magda, had a racist meltdown directed at me. I'm Mexican-American at her oldest son's Super Bowl party. Luckily, my brother-in-law's mother-in-law, Linda, was there to witness the full splendor of Magda's hurtful words. Unfortunately, the rest of the family's been working hard to sweep everything under the rug and to paint me as the bad guy. Now we're going like next level conspiracy theory. Come on, OP. Isn't there something that maybe you said back? She just heaped all this on you and you walked out of there? I don't know. I guess I could buy it. But Occam's razor says that the truth is usually the simplest thing. And the family conspiracy thing, it don't seem that simple. But whatever, it's your story, you tell it, that's fine. In my last post, I forgot to mention that I've known Linda since I was a kid. She was a teacher at my school. I never had her as a teacher, but my older sister and a bunch of my cousins were in her classes. Magda has the story in her mind that I am living in the US with a stolen social security number, have a desperately poor family, and am only with husband for money and US citizenship. In her mind, my dedication to parenting my stepchildren is to brainwash them, to love me so husband can never leave me. I mean, if you want to leave, it's really not the kid's decision, is it? Could she possibly be being nice to just like, be nice? I don't know. Like, kids are pretty cool. Maybe you should try forging a connection with the younger people in your family. Just a thought, she can't spend the time. She's too busy probably scrolling. It's not like 4chan poll. It's just good old Fox News, isn't it? OP says, as a graphic designer / illustrator, I work half at the office and half at my home. Mother-in-law thinks I work in a service job because of my untraditional hours. If it wasn't for me, her family would be happy and peaceful. You know, the standard just no mill type of stuff. So you're letting these presumptions from somebody who doesn't know you all that well get you down? Like, I get it, she's in your life and it's actually convenient. It's not like you could just block her in real life. At least not yet. Not until that Black Mirror episode comes true.
Technology!
Here we do get a little bit of backstory from OP, so that's interesting. Husband's wife, Jaina, died in a car accident when the youngest was about 6 months old. Shortly afterwards, husband took a job across the country where he met me. That's how I met him, at the annual company barbecue. His family are a bunch of narc assholes, and Jaina was totally the SG, which I guess is scapegoat. When she died, her family just ghosted. In the entire time I've been with husband, Jaina's family's never contacted the kids. No calls, no visits, no cards, nothing. And that's fine with me because my family was overjoyed to add husband and the kids to our family. The kids' school pictures are on my parents' living room wall, right along with the other grandkids. I've been with husband since the kids were 2, 4, and 6. They are now 12, 14, and 16. referred to as youngest son, middle daughter, oldest son, I guess. I'm pregnant with my first baby due in 3 weeks. Yeah, seems open and shut. Everybody's happy, except mother-in-law, of course. Magda loathes with every fiber of her being that my family loves those kids so much. It fills her with jealous rage that they prefer going to my parents' tiny house in the hood rather than her sterile tract mansion in a bland subdivision. It gets under her skin that I taught the kids to speak Spanish and that they go to a bilingual school. When she comes over to the house and Spanish language TV or radio is on, she turns it off and makes an exaggerated sigh of relief. Oh, I couldn't understand what they were saying at all. It was terrible. It shattered my tiny world view. How could people speak languages that I don't understand?
What kind of place is this?
Because it's a really, really big place. I don't think a human mind can really conceive of how large the world is and how many people are on it. You wouldn't even have time to say hello to all of them, or hola to the Spanish-speaking subsections. I don't know what the percentages are. Magda lost her mind when middle daughter plucked her eyebrows thin with a high arch, copied from the photos of me in high school from the 90s. Yeah, everybody was pulling all their eyebrows out. It was a really weird time. Middle daughter's rocking the East LA style like her cousins. Brown lipstick, huge hoop earrings, black Chuck Taylors, big hair. I love it. I mean, I guess we grew up in somewhat the same area, and yeah, you definitely painted a picture with all that. I'm pretty sure I knew this girl at one point. This wasn't a day-to-day problem before we moved back to Southern California. Wait, people actually move into Southern California? That's dumb.
California is nice to the homeless.
Before, we lived across the country in Florida. We've been back for about 2 years now, and I am fucking done. God, California and Florida, just best friends forever. Each insane in their uniquely distinct way. The day after the party, older son went up to my sister's house to hang out with his cousins. He told them what happened, and they got all riled up. The Latino machismo. Ugh. Come on, dude, this is what cousins are for, isn't it? Meanwhile, Magda had been text-bombing older son, pleading with him not to be upset. Magda can't help herself in talking shit about me, enraging older son further. She offered to give older son father-in-law's old Lexus that he didn't sell when he bought his new car, and older son told her to go screw. Yeah, surely a little bit of bribery will set everything right. All I did was talk smack about your mother. Do you want a new car? Well, it's not a new car, but it's new to you. Husband and I have been arguing throughout this pregnancy because Magda wouldn't give me any space. As soon as we announced I was pregnant, she texted multiple times a day, asking for updates. Magda was already annoyed that I refused to let her have a co-parenting relationship with the kids when we moved back to Southern California. And I suspect that's why husband moved across the country once Jaina died. I mean, Grandma, Grandpa, you could definitely help out once in a while. I really appreciate that, but whoever told you that this is a co-parenting situation, out of their minds. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The only co-parenting is between the parents, okay? Is your husband just incapable of telling his mother to back off? I don't understand. Magda wanted to go to all of my prenatal appointments and ultrasounds, just like she did for all her other grandchildren. Magda was also displeased that I wasn't going to let her pick out the baby's name, like she did for all her other grandchildren. I think she needs to learn that there are some things she just can't control, some things she doesn't need to be involved in. But it seems like nobody's willing to tell her that, or more likely they've told her that and she's simply not listening.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lord. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lord.
So I finally blocked Magda's number, and I told husband that all communication from her had to go through him. Little recap here, Magda wants the baby's name to be Patrick Liam, as he's due in March. We're naming the baby Toribio Romo because it has significant sentimental meaning in my family. Husband and I had an argument about maybe using the middle name of Liam. I refuse, because Magda will end up calling him Liam and the rest of husband's side will follow suit. Wow, no quarter given at all. What's his middle name gonna be? I don't know, man. I'm all about compromise. Something about this OP just irks me a little bit. Magda called husband at work and cried about older son telling her to go screw. Husband let Magda cry on the phone for 30 minutes, upset at the way we let the children disrespect their elders. None of this would have happened if I just followed the family tradition of Magda being the third spouse in her children's marriages, which is my wording. Yeah, Magda wouldn't admit to any of that out loud. It's exactly what she's doing, but to acknowledge it would be the beginning of solving the problem, and she doesn't want to do that, because she definitely doesn't have a problem. And if you think she does, then that's a problem, but not my problem.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
It's our problem, comrade. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, older son, already riled up from his cousins, overheard that argument on Tuesday and exploded the next night, Wednesday. Magda will not stop text bombing all the kids. Older son and husband started arguing in the backyard. Older son tells husband he's a failure as a man and a father and a husband for allowing Magda to act like this. Damn, older son landed down pretty flat, didn't he? It hurts when your boy calls you out on stuff, but you're like, you know what? Maybe I do gotta man up. Tell mommy I'm not having this anymore. I've already said it at least a couple of times throughout the story, but to have someone actually say it to his face is beautiful. I love it. I hope he acts on it. OP says, I stayed out of this argument because I found myself agreeing with older son way too much. Older son loves my parents more because they love him more as a person. Magda just treats him like a lifestyle accessory. As soon as he's 18, he will never speak to her again because she's just blood related. But my side loves him like family should actually love someone. Yeah, I always get sad to see family bonds break like that, but you do make your own choices. She sounds like a hell of a lot to be around. You could push back until you fall into line, but it's probably easier to just cut her off completely, isn't it? Older son also said that if husband and I got divorced, him and his siblings would want to live with me because he'll just crawl up Magda's ass, begging her to love him. Yeah, that seems slightly insane. Like, everybody in this family seems spiteful somewhat. What's going on there? Y'all live next to a toxic waste dump? He said that he wishes we never moved back to Southern California. He liked it better when Magda only visited once a year and stayed in a hotel. Husband ended the argument by telling older son to go to his room. When I heard older son's bedroom door slam and husband stomping into the back room to watch TV, I took middle daughter and younger son to get burgers. Yeah, burgers is gonna make this all better.
Yo, let's get some Burger King.
I mean, you do gotta eat. And why not eat a burger? At In-N-Out, not a sponsor. They filled me in on Magda's constant texting. They hadn't responded back because they're afraid of causing more fights. My heart is breaking. I felt guilty for standing my ground because it's hurting the kids with the tension. Then they start talking about all the times Magda's been mean to me, and I was nice back. I had to reassure them that husband and I aren't talking about divorce because Magda told them that husband and I are going to break up and my family will abandon them like Jaina's family did. Oh my god. She is a monster, man. She wants to reconcile because soon she'll be the only grandmother they have. She has a forgiving heart, and she still loves them. Yes, as fashion accessories. I think that nailed it down the flattest of all. I tried to play it cool, even though I was seeing red. I'm an adult with kids, a successful corporate career, and a late model minivan, but I'm still from the barrio. The East LA chola in me wants to fill a sock full of pennies and use it to beat her surgically enhanced face in. Alright, go ahead, eh? Just don't let him catch you. I purposefully keep up the conversation in English at in and out, so I can make sure I choose my words more carefully. It's getting late, we go home, and the kids go into their bedrooms. Yes, always careful with the language in front of the children. Husband tries to get me to sympathize with him over this argument that him and older son had. Well, I'm most definitely not sympathetic, and I tell him what the younger kids told me. Older son most definitely didn't mention that part to husband, and husband gets angry all over again. I told him I'm not interested in anything he has to say because he hasn't handled his mother. I told him he needs to sleep in the TV room. Damn, dude. Sucks to suck. I would go, but being pregnant with his son requires me to have a bed with better lumbar support. Husband stomps out of the room and slams the door. Older son texts me to tell me he's sorry for causing that fight between husband and I. I'm not going to question the strength of their marriage or anything like that, but this interaction does seem rather dysfunctional. Don't go to bed angry, okay? I don't care if you have to stay up till 3 a.m. talking about the thing about why you're mad. just do it. Hash it out. Or I don't know, have a baby together. That'll probably fix it too. Woo! Me and husband don't speak from Thursday up until yesterday morning. Yay, we're having a baby soon. I'm very concerned. The Magda situation really is throwing everything into flux. Even though he's angry with his mom, he's also mad at me for not backing him up during the fight with older son. I mean, calls him as you sees him. Middle daughter went through her clothes and gave everything that Magda gave her to the Goodwill. Younger son is spending extra time practicing the piano. I know he's upset because he's only playing songs in minor key. I don't see how that's relevant, but cool, I guess. We go to Sunday Mass and Magda isn't there. I don't take my cell phone, and I don't allow the kids to take their phones to church after I caught middle daughter scrolling through Instagram during Mass a few months ago. Oh, is that frowned upon? I've been playing Warcraft Rumble in church. I don't know, sometimes it gets a little slow. What do you want from me? I sit in the back, it's probably fine. When I get home, I have a voicemail from father-in-law. I listened to it, and father-in-law went on for 3 minutes about how I need to resolve this conflict with Magda because it's my fault. And Magda feels uncomfortable at church because I made her out to be a monster to the other parishioners. Traditions are important in their family, and I was inconsiderate for not even discussing choices of names with her. He also said that they still love me, even though there are huge cultural differences between us. Also, his only son sure he doesn't want the old Lexus.
It's a shitbox. It understeers like crazy and the weight distribution is a disaster.
I see what all of this is. What are the cultural differences? I don't understand. I'd question if he's talking about like East LA culture, but I know he's talking about Mexican culture. But East LA culture's not that far from like just American gangster shit, right? Maybe it's the gangster shit he has a problem with. I don't really know. Anyway, it was husband's turn to help clean the chapel after service when he got home from church. I had him listen to the voicemail. Afterwards, he apologized for me and asked to go to couples counseling. Apologize to you? That's worded poorly. Linda told our priest about what Magda said at the Super Bowl party. Instead of cleaning the chapel after Mass, the priest and husband had a long talk. Yeah, perspective helps sometimes, I guess. Older son has now disowned Magda and father-in-law. He wrote them a non-contact letter and blocked their numbers from his phone, blocked them on Facebook, and set his email to automatically delete emails from them. I'm sad that it had to come to this, but I'm impressed that older son has the fortitude at 16 to cut these types of toxic people out of his life. Yeah, he gave up a car, kind of a crappy car, a Lexus. You know what's going to cost for a 16-year-old boy to insure a Lexus? But I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to resist that briberous hand-me-down. But then you're under the thumb of Magda forever. One ReddX mobile, no strings attached. Obviously loads of strings, but just ignore the strings. The kids aren't just stepchildren to me. They're my everything. I've made many personal and professional sacrifices to make sure that they have the best childhood possible. I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now because I hate that Magda had spewed out such disgusting bullshit, trying to make them hate me. It hurts me deeply that she can't just be happy that her son actually married a good woman who loves his children unconditionally. There we go. I'm sure after Toribio's born, there'll be a fresh uptick in Magda shenanigans. Husband hasn't gone non-contact with her yet, so I know the fighting will continue. I'm grateful that my brother's wife is coming to stay with us for 6 weeks after the baby is born. I need someone else to be there, so I don't cave to Magda in my vulnerable postpartum time. Last night, I dreamt that I cut Magda's tongue out with a kitchen knife and ate it in tacos a la lengua. I woke up a little bit sad that it didn't actually happen. Dude, there's some stuff going on there. Have we been to therapy for all this yet?
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, though. Like, silence feels good, but when Magda's there and she's silent because she literally can't speak anymore, that's like the most precious gift of all, isn't it? Here's another one. When Magda convinced her granddaughter she was obese. Who, Magda or the granddaughter? Magda probably is obese. She's just an old ham beast, wants to make everybody as miserable as her. Moby Vic, is that you? My middle kid, MD, middle daughter, is doing the purge. She's getting rid of everything that Magda has given her. The bags of stuff in the hall today has reminded me of why I don't allow her unsupervised time with the kids. What's in the bags? Is there weird stuff in the bags? When we moved to Southern California from Florida, Magda assumed that things would go like they did with her other grandchildren. Husband is the bumper baby, 8 years apart from his older brother. The rest of his nieces and nephews are all adults who have moved away. Magda was so excited to spend time with her younger grandchildren. She offered to take them to school in the mornings 4 days a week, and drive middle daughter to her soccer practice, and take her home after 3 days a week. Yeah, that was all too good to be true. She was never late, but cut it way too close for my liking in the mornings. She would insist on picking up middle daughter in the afternoon in her tiny roadster, the trunk too small to fit her huge duffel bag, so she'd have to put it on her lap, blocking her from seeing out of the car. This really pissed me off because she had no problem picking them up in the mornings in her S500 sedan. What a piddly argument to have. I mean, I'm no fan of Magda, but she is making your life easier, and instead of thanking her for that, you're gonna criticize her choice of vehicle. Oh no, the kid can't see out the windows. What are we gonna do? I don't know, finish the ride home, get the fuck out of the car, like, it's fine. These are the moments that the real OP blinks through. Continuing on, right at the end of their first school year in California, middle daughter started dramatically restricting her food intake. She thought she was clever by taking small portions and chewing very slowly. She started working out harder, knocking out another hour on the stationary bike after practice. She was so cranky all the time. I was worried that her friends were pushing her into it, and she adamantly denied it. Oh, now here's the part where I eat my words about Magda doing actual favors. Really, yeah, being around her is not a favor. I recant my earlier statement. We were on week 3 of 5 of husband being in South America on a business trip. Middle daughter comes inside, looking like she just finished crying. Magda follows her, looking like the cat who ate the canary. I'm busy getting dinner together while making sure younger son is doing his homework at the kitchen table. Just mom shit, multitasking. Dad's out there in Bolivia.
Cocaína.
Magda comes over to my stove and tut-tuts what I'm making, telling me that middle daughter might get depressed in high school if she stayed stocky. Just because I'm Mexican doesn't mean the kid should eat beans fried in lard daily. Those are the best kind of beans, though. She understands that food is cheaper in the US, but I shouldn't fall into the trap of eating rich food every day just because it's available. I asked her to leave. Her eyes tear up and she fake apologizes. She just wants to make sure her grandchildren are happy and healthy. If cooking is too much of a burden, she'd be more than happy to pay for a service to deliver our meals daily if we needed. And then again, you'd be under the thumb of Magda. I guess I'm slowly seeing a picture of what type of person Magda is too. Oldest son and youngest son got really excited at that idea and I just acquiesced. I was tired from working full-time and having the kids on my own. The idea of a daily meal service while husband was gone didn't sound so bad. She's gonna beat you over the head with it, but yeah, it is a large load off your plate. Or on your plate, because it's food! At the end of it all, OP says the joke was on me, because that food was terrible. And Magda made sure to tell everyone how lazy I am when husband is gone. Yeah, should have seen that coming. She'd probably get me with it the first time. I'd be like, oh, that's so generous. And I'd be like, oh, I see. She ain't ever gonna get me again, I'll tell you that. Hearing my frustration with middle daughter, my brother offers to take her with him when he visits his in-laws in Mexico. My sister-in-law's family are hardcore soccer fans, and she has quite a few nieces middle daughter's age. She was gone for 3 days when my brother calls me. Middle daughter's been food restricting and overworking out because Magda told her that she needs to have muscle definition and a flat stomach to be successful in Southern California. Middle daughter's obese, and if she doesn't get it together, she'll be a social pariah. You think, like, fat people just don't exist in California? It's rarer, but they do. And still, they usually get along just fine. She also offered to pay for breast implants as a high school graduation gift. Disgusting. On the condition that she gets and stays fit. 18 years old, you're already opting for some fucking bolt-ons, bro? Dude, what do you... What?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Nah. None of what you said is okay. I told husband, and he called Magda. She at first denied saying those things before eventually admitting she's only looking out for middle daughter's best interests because she'll be as large as a dumpster if they keep eating my cooking. Besides, we should have been proud of middle daughter's dedication. She works hard and looks fantastic. She non-apologized and husband ate it up. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you that your husband's a sucker. Like, you see it too, but yeah, you can't fix it for him, I guess. You love him despite this flaw. After we get off the phone, husband seemed proud of how he handled the situation. Middle daughter didn't look too good. She was too thin, pale, irritable, and she was losing a lot of hair. We fought over trivial daily things. My funny and easygoing girl became a hypoglycemic shrew. I was exhausted, so I just let it slide. When middle daughter did come back, she had gained a little weight and had her color back. We went out clothes shopping for school when middle daughter said she didn't want to play soccer anymore. I really had to pry it out of her that she wanted to quit so Magda doesn't drive her to practice anymore. Yeah, I guess this is what you get, shuffling your responsibilities off onto, essentially, the devil. The devil will drive your kid to soccer practice. You're like, well, that's one less thing for me to do. But also, she's in the car with the literal devil, so you're gonna enjoy that none too much. The entire time middle daughter is in Magda's car, she's pinned to the seat from her bag, and Magda interrogates her about what she ate and how she works out. Some of Magda's friends volunteer with the club. Magda wanted to make absolutely sure that middle daughter made her look like the world's best grandparent. Yeah, nothing says best grandparent like a little bit of psychological abuse, right? She's out of her mind. She's not even in touch with reality anymore. I wanted husband to tell her that her chauffeur service was no longer needed. Oh yeah, he's got to play the middleman, the little bitch boy. As far as I'm concerned, he's surrounded by shrews on all sides. To reuse that word from earlier, because it was glorious. He tried to beat around the bush, angering Magda, and they had a huge fight, ending with Magda no longer wanting to take the kids to school. Alright, awesome. I felt so good. A few days later, when Magda asked for the school schedule, I told her not to worry about it. Again, she made sure to tell everyone how I'm actively alienating her grandchildren from her. I never told anyone that she wasn't allowed to have unsupervised time with the kids. I just maneuvered it so that it didn't happen. I still feel guilty about letting middle daughter's brief brush with compulsive overexercising happen. I mean, kids are secretive, especially that around that age. They don't really want to open up. Maybe you did miss a sign or two, but it's like, yeah, you can't see this stuff in advance. You just got to take the new information that you have, not let it happen again. It's going to be okay. It'll become even more okay the further we're removed from Magda, but that we've got a long way to go until that happens. Magda threw a lawn tantrum. Today I was taking a pregnancy-induced coma nap in the living room when I woke up to my nephew, Luis. He's our landscaper, arguing with someone in the front yard. I peek out the front window, and he's arguing with two men in front of a truck from a very expensive furniture store near my nutbag a-hole MIL Magda's house. Oh, they're coming to take the couch that is actually at Magda's house. She lied on the application. I know exactly where this is going. They stopped arguing when I opened the front door. Luis instantly apologizes for waking me up from my nap. He explains that this store is trying to deliver a bunch of furniture, a new piano, and it's all paid for. When he saw Magda's name on the receipt, he knew he wouldn't want it. The delivery guys just couldn't understand how I could refuse a complete nursery set made of teak and a brand new Yamaha piano. I ended up calling the store, telling the manager if they didn't leave, I was gonna call the cops. Refund Magda's money or don't. I don't give a shit. This furniture was not coming off the truck and into my house. So, delivery guys and Magda's furniture leaves, and Luis goes back to working on the flower beds. What a very strange interlude, but yes, this was the right move. I want no part of it. I don't know what scheme is happening, but I'm not today. Not today, Satan. I knew it wasn't over. When I hung up with the manager of the store, I knew Magda was going to be at my house in 55 minutes. 25 minutes to get the phone call and summon her flying monkeys. 30-minute drive to my house. Right on schedule, Magda, sister-in-law too, and her daughter-in-law come roaring up our street in Magda's car. Magda's in the front seat with sister-in-law's daughter-in-law driving. Her mascara is streaked down her face, enraging me further. Her streaked makeup was for show. Her eyes weren't puffy, and her favorite mascara is waterproof. Okay, but you gotta give a couple points for showmanship, right? You're right, it was all set dressing, but come on! The lengths that these people go to! There's artistry in their degeneracy. Before she could bang on my door, I threw it open and told her to leave. She stops in the middle of the walk and just chastises me for refusing to be a part of the family. Why did I have to insist on doing things different and have such a blatant disregard for last name family traditions? She just wants to love me, and she loves her grandson. With him being born in the US, OP will have an easier path to citizenship. She's sorry for threatening to get OP deported. She just wants to resolve all these conflicts before the baby is born. You've played this hand too many times. Everybody sees through it now. Do you not realize that? All of a sudden, BAM! My nephew hits her with the garden hose, and he makes sure to absolutely soak her. He's yelling at her to leave before he calls the cops. He follows her to the car, hose on full blast. Quite a bit of water gets into her stupid fancy car before she can get in and close the door, and they take off quickly. I mean, maybe a bit excessive, but yeah, that solves it really fast. I think speed is what we're going for here. Before they are even on the freeway, Magda calls me using granddaughter-in-law's cell phone. She's screaming into the phone, telling me that she still loves me and I need to get over it. Husband and I have been married for long enough for me to know that Magda's the head of the family and I need to know my place. I told her that she will never meet her grandson. She's not allowed to come to the hospital. She isn't invited to his christening. We will never come to holidays in her home. Husband is free to have whatever relationship he wants, but now the two older kids, me and the still gestating fetus, don't have a relationship with Magda. The youngest can decide, but trying to buy his affection with a new piano is offensive. I will not be encouraging him to spend any time with her. I just hung up. What was her endgame with all that stuff? Did she actually mean it as an apology? Probably not. I mean, there was something that was gonna go on, but OP's just like, I ain't got time for this. just send it all back. It's a trick of some sort. I don't want it. Go. Husband and the kids have said nothing about Magda when they got home. I don't know what's gonna happen now. There, Magda Elephant is in the room, and even saying her name out loud enrages me. She is a fairly enraging person. I'll say this is not the normal type of cringe that I'm used to. I don't know if I'm actually like really truly enjoying myself, but it's a bit of a different flavor. Maybe some people will enjoy it. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Like, comment, sub if you enjoyed this video. I definitely do appreciate that. On the end card, I'm gonna link you to some Neckbeard sagas. You can see what real cringe is like around here. This didn't quite scratch my cringe itch, but maybe you guys feel differently. Anyways, thank you to my Patreons, my YouTube channel members. I want you guys all to always remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be